Hello students, welcome to this another session where we will be taking this physics analysis of NEET test 59, and frankly it is one of the easier paper. If you do see my analysis, I have written no question is tough. 28 were easy, 17 were medium, and many medium are also easy. It's a paper you should crack. So here scores would be very high. For an average student also 140, 145 should succeed if you want to aim to score in physics. For those for the whom physics is very you can say is a bottleneck and scores less than 100, they can also aim for 120, 130 at least in such a paper. And for very good students, so there's no meaning of saying any score. There should be many students who should crack 180 on 180. This 13th question, the solved is right from them, but answer given is wrong. For 42, I wish the question should be more clear in the language. So let's see what's in the paper. So let's start the paper. See the first one. The total energy of an electron in the first excited state of hydrogen atom is this, then its potential energy is. You know, kinetic energy is equal to negative of energy is equal to negative of U by 2. So from here, you know U is equals to twice of E. So if it is minus 3.4, it is minus 6.8. That's a very familiar question and an easy one for you. Next one. A ball starts falling from some height. After falling height h, it breaks into two parts. Finally, they reach the Earth's surface. Choose the correct option. Okay, so it starts falling from some height. That means its ux is going to be 0 or vx, whatever you write. And it breaks into two parts. Both are going horizontally. So this is clear. M1 V1 would be equals to M2 V2. And uh, because they have moved horizontally, and I'm assuming that the vertical component will still be the same, or you can say starts falling, it breaks into height h1 h2, find the reach the Earth's surface, choose the correct option. So the value of the r will depend on h. No, the value of r will not depend on h. Okay, no, it will depend on h. No, it doesn't seem it will depend. If m1 is greater than m2, then x1 is greater than x2. So here see, because we know, just leave about the y thing, we need to know about the x thing. From the diagram it is clear that m1 v1 should be equals to m2 v2. So if m1 is greater, v1 is smaller. If m2 is greater, v2 is smaller. So if m1 is greater than m2, v1 is less than v2. And because v1 will be lesser, and as per the diagram both will take the same time, so if v1 is less, then x1 is going to be lesser than x2. So definitely we'll go for option B. The CMF will shift towards heavier part. No, none of the above. So B option seems to for me to be the most appropriate one. Next, a sphere is suspended by a thread of length L. The minimum horizontal velocity which has to be imparted to the sphere for it to reach the height of suspension is. Okay, the minimum horizontal velocity which has to be imparted to the sphere to reach it to the height of suspension. So just need to get the height of suspension. Okay, so like this. This is the height of suspension. So if I do this V equal to 0, and if I calculate this U, just energy conservation says half mu square equals to mgl. So U is equals to root 2 gl. You all are familiar with this. So this is the option B, not a tough one for you. Next, for a PN junction diode, which of the following statement is true about the magnitude of the various current? Okay. Forward current is in milliampere, reverse is in micro. Yes, this is what you have done in experiment. Both are in micro, forward in micro, reverse in milli, both micro, both milli are wrong. So option A is the most appropriate one, an easy one for you. Next one, the current of a conductor flowing through a conductor in terms of the drift speed, you know I is equals to NeAVD. That's the most easy one you will get. Next, a 30 microfarad capacitor connected to 150 volt 60 hertz supply, the RMS values. Okay, so first of all, what is XC? XC is 1 upon omega C, that is 1 upon 2 pi FC, which is 1 upon 2 pi into 60 into 30 to the power 10 by 6. So what we have, 10 to the power 4 upon 18 to the 36 pi. That is the value that we are getting. Now, what would be IRMS? IRMS would be VRMS upon XC. So VRMS is 150. XC, if I do 10 to the power 4 into 36 pi. So if I do this 10 to the power 4, if I nullify it is 0.5 into 3.6 pi. So now calculate what you will get. 3.6 pi is approximately 10 point something into 1.15, so it is 1.6 or something. So as per the option, it can only be 1.7 closest, I can say. You can directly see the questions, the options are too far, so it is 1.7. Now go ahead. What is the largest charge a metal ball of 1 mm radius can hold? So simply what we dielectric strength is given. Dielectric strength is volt per meter. That is the Emax you are given. So let me do this. So Emax is KQ max by R. I can directly write. So Q max I can write it as by R square. Sorry. So that is Emax R square by K. 3 in 10 की power 6 into 1 mm, that is 10 to the power minus 6. K is 3 into 10 to the sorry, 9 into 10 to the power 9. So what we have, this goes cancel. This is 1 by 3 into 10 to the power minus 9 coulombs. So this comes out to be option B. So not a tough one, just simply remembering what is dielectric strength. The weight of the body at the center of the earth, it is again a repetition of the question. You know, at the center of the earth G is 0, so weight will be 0. So that's again a easy one for you. Next, the two ends of a metal rod are maintained at 100 and 110. The rate of heat flow in the rod is this. If the ends were maintained at this, then the rate of heat flow, the temperature difference is same, so the heat flow remains same, nothing to do. Again, an easy thing. It doesn't depend on what is the two temperature, it depends on the difference of the two temperature. Now, an engineer claims to have made an engine delivering 10 kilowatt power, okay, with a fuel consumption of 1 gram per second. The calorific value of the fuel is this, the claim of the engineer is. So just check here, what is the efficiency? Efficiency or the work output is 10 kilowatt, 10 to the power 4 joule per second. And if I can see the Q input is 1 gram per second into 2 kilocalorie per gram. So it comes out to be 2 into 10 to the power 3 into 4.8 joule per second, which is what we have. Definitely it is less than 10 to the power 4 joule per second. So it is taking less heat and doing more work, which is, you all know, that is not possible. Claim is fraud. Next, charged particle moving in a magnetic field experiences a resultant force. So because it is moving in a magnetic field, the force will definitely be going to be perpendicular to the magnetic field, perpendicular to its direction of velocity. You have that expression that all you know, QV cross B perpendicular to V perpendicular to B. Okay, next one. The angle with which the velocity vector of a projectile thrown with an angle V at an angle theta to the horizontal will make with the horizontal after time t of being thrown. So after time t, the angle that if I had to write, I'll say tan alpha, typically we write is equal to Vy by Vx. Vy is what you write as Uy minus Gt. This is what you write as Ux. Uy by Ux is tan theta. So tan theta minus Gt by Ux, and Ux is what we call as V cos theta. So going by the expressions that we are given with, so it's better we directly write this. This is V sin theta minus Gt. It is simply wanting this much only. I solved more, so it is the option D. No issues in this particular. Now going for the next question, what it has. A man 60 kg in a lift going down. Because lift is going down, pseudo force would be upward. So I can directly write the force, or the N would be N from the floor would be mg minus a naught. So it is 60, 10 minus 1.8, that is what we'll have 8.2. So that is 6 2s are 12, 1, and this is 492 Newton. So closest option, and they might have taken G as 9.8, so it would be 480 Newton. That is the closest one I can go for. If you take 9.8, it might come out to be exactly the same 480 Newton that we can do. Okay, next. The following fusion reaction takes place. Okay, if 2 kg of 2A1 is subjected to the above reaction, the energy released is used to light a 100-watt lamp. Lamp, how long will the lamp glow? Okay, so for a single reaction, we need two atoms. So first of all, how many reactions will take place? Number of reactions will be, we have 2 kg, that is 2000 gram. One reaction required 4 gram. So this is a, so you can say the 4 AMU, or you can first of all find out the moles. Moles would be 2000 by 2. Each reaction required two atoms. Number of reaction would be that divided by 2 into the Avogadro number. So what we have now, 500 times Na, and Na you all know is 6.02, 3 into 10 to the power 23. So because it is approximate calculation, I'll take at 6 only. So 6 5s are 30, that is 3000 into 10 to the power 23 reactions. In single reaction, this much energy is needed. So the total energy released would be 3 into 10 to the power 6 into 3.27 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 13, sorry, joules. So it is something like this. So it is 10 to the power 13 into 3 into 3.27 into 1.6, and this would be the time would be power into time, so time would be divided by the power, which is 100. So it is 10 to the power 11 seconds I am getting into 3 into 3.27 into 1.6. And if I have to do it in years, so what we have, 1 year is how many second? 365 days into 24 hours. 1 hour has 3600 seconds. So now if I do this, just checking it, this is the powers. If I take 3 power, it would become 3.6. This will become 2.44. This will become 3.6, that is 6. So that is 10 to the power 5 into 3 into 3.27 into 1.6 divided by 3.65 into 3.6 into 2.4. So what we have, this is 2 by 3. This 3 goes down. So 2 threes are, this is 6.54, and this is coming out to be and 3.6. So it is approximately 10 11 whatever we will have. So 6 by 11, so it would be 1 by 2 factor. So 5 into 10 to the power 4 years is the most appropriate one I can go for. Next one, the period of SHM of a pendulum inside a stationary lift is T if lift accelerate upwards. If lift accelerate upwards, what it will have, the pseudo force will act downwards, so that G effective will become 4G by 3, and T is 1 by root G, so that T dash, or you can say T by T dash, would be equals to root 4 by 3. You can make out, so T dash would be root 3 by 2 times T. So go for option C. So again, this is a standard straightforward thing that you already know. Photoelectric emission occurs only when the incident light has a certain minimum. We talk out of minimum, so minimum must be what we can say is the frequency, maximum is the wavelength. Next, Torres-Lees barometer used mercury, Pascal's duplicated is in using French wine. Okay, determine the height of the wine column. So what will have, rho gh must be same. So rho 1 h1 is equal to rho 2 h2. So height of that wine would be, what for mercury, what you know, the what we have for mercury, the value is the density value, if I remember, is what we had, 13.6, I can recall. So that was 13.6 into 10 to the power 3. Here it is 984, and for that 760, what we need, millimeters. So that was 0.76 meter I can make out. So that would be the answer. So if I do this, this would be 1 point something, so 13.6 or 1.4 times basically 0.76. So it would be approximately greater than 7.6, and okay, 10.5, 10.8. We need to be more careful in the calculation. We'll do it carefully. It comes out as 10.5, not 10.8. So you can solve that calculation, but the options are really close. So you need to be careful while doing the calculations. Next one. An object is placed at a distance of f by 2 from a convex lens of focal length f. The image will be, because it is less than f, definitely what will happen, it will be a magnified, but it would be a virtual image. So it would be a virtual image. So it is greater than 1.5. The image will be is greater than 1.5 but less than 2.0. None of the above, 2f virtual and erect. So let me solve it. What I'll have, the equation 1 by v minus 1 by u is minus f by 2 is equal to 1 by f. So what we'll have, 1 by v plus 2 by f equals to 1 by f. So 1 by v is going to be minus 1 by f. So v is equal to minus f. So it is at one of the foci, virtual and double end size, because f by 2 to f. So it would be option A is the most appropriate one we'll getting. On the application of a constant torque, a wheel is turned from rest through 400 radians in 10 seconds. The angular acceleration is, so what, simply applying omega is omega naught plus alpha delta t. So it is 400 radian. Okay, it is turned, so angle, sorry, I need to do omega. So angle turned is from a constant torque, so I can directly, delta theta is half alpha t square. So alpha would be 2 delta theta, 200 into 400 divided by 100. So what we have now, 8 is the answer that I am getting, 8 radian per second square. So it's an easy one. Next, RMS velocity of oxygen velocities at NTP is this. For hydrogen molecule, what we know, VRMS we know is root 3 RT by M, so directly proportional to 1 by root M. So VRMS of O2 to VRMS of H2, that would be root of H2, 2 by 32, that is 1 by 4. So the H2 will have 4 times the velocity, so it would be 2 km per second. Again, an easy one, you have done many equations like this. A 5.5 meter long string has a mass of this. If the tension is this, the speed of wave. Same question gets repeated. Its concept basically, V is root t by mu, root of t by mu, and what is t? T is 77. Mu is what? 0.035. This is 5.5. So what we have now, 77 into, let's say, 55 upon 0.35. That is what we are having. So it is 11. This is 0.07. So this will be 11. This would be 0.01. So 11 into 10 will be outside. That is 110 meter per second. Go for option A. Okay, next. A force F is related to the position of a particle by the relation, okay, the work done when particle goes from 2 to 4. So work done simply, is equal to integration f dx. So it's an easy one. It's a function of x. 10x square dx from 2 to 4. 10x square will give you 10x cube by 3. So 10 by 3 is common. X cube, 4 cube is 64 minus 8, that is 56. So 560 by 3 joules. So it's given like that only. So option C, again, not a tough one for you. Next. In a Fraunhofer diffraction at a single slit, if a yellow light is replaced by blue light, then diffraction bands. Okay, so whatever be the widths, fringe widths, they are all proportional to lambda. So you have decreased the lambda, so definitely they will become narrower. That is for sure. The same thing will happen even in your YDSC. Next. The angular speed of a second hand of the clock is, again, this is an interesting question. You must have done omega is angle covered. It is 2 pi radian upon 60 seconds. It is at one rotation in 60 seconds, that is 2 pi by 60, that is pi by 30 radian per second. So it's not a tough one for you. Pi by 30, option B. Okay, next. A simple pendulum of length L, mass m, and it oscillates freely with amplitude A. At the extreme position, its potential energy is, okay, because it's a pendulum, its potential energy at extreme will be the total energy that we say of the SHM, that would be equals to half m omega square A square. And what is omega square? Omega square is what you write as G by L. So half mg by L into A square. So which option you are going for? Mg A square by 2L. It comes out as option A. Okay, next. Two inductors, each of inductance L, are connected in parallel. One more inductor of value 5 is connected in series. Then the effective becomes 15. Okay. Two inductors are connected in parallel, so that will become L by 2, that is in series, plus 5. Inductors add in series and parallel like what we say as the resistors. So L by 2 plus 5 is equal to 15. So L by 2 is 10. So L comes out as 20. That is an easy one now, if you know that inductor theory. Next. Two like charges separated. The point on line joining where the force experienced by a charge placed at that point is 0. Basically, you have to find the point where the field is 0 due to both. This is 1 into 10 to the power minus 9, 9 into 10 to the power minus 9. So it would be somewhere close to here. So let it be x. This would be, let's say, 1 minus x. So what I write? K into 1 into 10 to the power minus 9 upon x square. That would be rightwards. That should be equal to leftward from this. K into 9 into 10 to the power minus 9. So not 19, sorry, upon 1 minus x whole square. So taking the root, 1 minus x by x equals 3. So definitely you do, x comes out as 1 by 4 from 1 into. So this is go for option A. This is an, and B is also right. Okay. C is also right at all the points. So going by this, the most appropriate would be this one, because 0.25 meter, 0.75 meter should be left or right anywhere. So in between. So most appropriate one is C, though A and B appeared also as close. So you need to check the options carefully. So C is the most appropriate one in that respect. The acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the Earth be g, then the value at a height 32 kilometer above the surface is 32 is very small as compared to 6400. So I will say g naught 1 minus 2h by r. I'll use that formula. So that is given as g. So let it be g dash. This is 1 minus 64 upon 6400. So it is g 1 minus 1 by 100. So it is 0.99 g. I'll go for option A. Go ahead. Next. An ideal gas is taken through a series of changes from P1. Okay, this is given. Okay, so let me check from P1, V1 to 4. It goes like this. Okay, at the end of the cycle. So the network done is equal to simply the area under the curve, and the cycle is what here clockwise. So it would be positive. That would be half times 2V1. into 3p1. So it is 3p1v1. So go for option B, easy one for you. Next, percentage change in energy when a gas is cooled from 927 to 27. 927 is 1200 Kelvin, 27 is 300 Kelvin. Inter energy is proportional to T, so it becomes one fourth. So it also becomes one fourth. So the percentage change would be, it has become one fourth. So what we can say, the change can be written as 75%. Okay, next. A proton and a deuteron with the same initial kinetic energy under a magnetic field. Okay, the ratio of the radii. So you know this thing. R is mv, mv you write as root 2 mk by qb. So R, because K is same, B is same, R is proportional to root of M by Q. Both will have same charge, so R is proportional to root of M. So RP is to R of D would be equals to 1 is to root 2. That is what we can write. Go for option B. That's an easy one. You have done this question many a times. Next. Projectile is given some initial velocity. What is the Cartesian equation? So G is 10. So what we have, Ux is 1, Uy is 2, and Ay is minus G, which is minus 10. Okay. So the equation is y is equal to x 10 theta, and 10 theta I can make it out from here as 2 minus gx square upon 2u square cos square theta. So put it, 10 theta is 2, 2x, g is 10, x square, u square would be 5, you can make out, cos square theta, 10 theta is 2, that means cos square theta would be equal to 1 by 5 for sure. So this goes, this goes. So go for option A, not a tough one for you. You have done such question many a times. Next. For a substance, the average life for alpha is this, for beta is this. One fourth remains simultaneous. So if it is simultaneous, so what I can write, 1 upon effective mean life would be 1 upon 1620 plus 1 upon 405, which you can write as 5 upon 1620. So effective mean life comes out as 324 years. So the effective half-life would be what we write at tau is equals to T half is tau ln 2, that is 0.693 into 324. So let me 0.7, I can do it for approximate calculation. 7 4s are 8, 14, 16, 226.8 years. So it becomes one fourth, it should be double of that. So 226, if I do, would be 452 approximately. So going by the option, go for the C 0.693, it would be slightly less. So 449 years is the appropriate one. Next. Which of the following quantity doesn't change due to damping of oscillation? Angular frequency, it changes slightly, though we neglect for small damping, but it changes. And so time period will also change. The amplitude also changes, so we are left with initial phase only that we can do by, you can say, by elimination. Okay, next. Which light of the different frequencies whose photons have this effectively illuminate the ratio of maximum speed. This is again an easy one. For the first case, k1 max is 0.5. For the second case, k2 max is 2. So k max becomes 4 times, so speed becomes double time, so maximum speed ratio would be 1 is to 2. So again a very general question, not a tough one. Hydraulic lift, you know, it works on the basis of Pascal's law. Go ahead. According to the Cartesian sign convention, in ray optics, all distances are taken negative. False. All in the direction of incident ray are taken as positive. Yes. All distances are taken as positive. False. In the direction of incident ray taken as negative. So go for option B. We have done it. Next one. On the application of a constant torque, a wheel is turned from rest to 400 radian in 10 seconds. If the same torque continues to act, the angular velocity after 20 seconds. So we did the same question, and you remember this alpha came out as 8 in the question we did before. So this is the same data. You can try it again if you wish. Hello, let me do it again. So I might be remembering wrong. So 400 is equal to half alpha into t square, that is 100. So alpha is 8, so it is 8. So what is after 20 second, omega would be 8 into 20, that is 160 radian per second. So same data was given there, only alpha was asked there. This after some time omega is asked. From Brewster's law, except for polished metallic surfaces, the polarizing angle depends on wavelength and is different for, yes, it depends on n, because it depends on n for the medium and n of the medium depends on wavelength, so it will depend on the different, and is definitely going to be different for different colors. Okay, so this is the correct option. Next one. A mole of a mono gas is mixed with a mole of a dia gas. That's correct. Yeah, this is a very important thing. What is the formula we have? where remix is n2 by gamma 2 minus 1 is equal to n1 plus n2 upon gamma mixture minus 1. This is how to calculate the gamma. So it is 1 upon 5 by 3 minus 1 plus 1 upon 7 by 5 minus 1, that is 2 upon gamma of mixture minus 1. So what we have, we have 3 by 2 plus 5 by 2 is equals to 2 upon gamma mix minus 1. So gamma mix minus 1 becomes 2 upon, this become 3 by 2, 8 by 2, 4, 2 by 4. So gamma mix minus 1 is 2 by 4, that is 1 by 2. So gamma mix becomes 3 by 2. You all must be remembering, if you have equal moles of Mona and dia, the equivalent gamma is 3R by, gamma mix is 3 by 2, not guys. What you have to ask? The molar specific, so you need not to do this, you could directly do with CV. I just remember it should be gamma, so no issue, I can still do it. CV mixture would be equal to R upon gamma mixture minus 1, which is R upon 3 by 2 minus 1, it comes out as 2R. So this is C, otherwise taking the direct average of 3R by 2, 5R by 2, that would be a better method than mine, what I have done. The least count of a stopwatch is 0.2 second. The time of 20 oscillations is measured to be 25. The percentage error in the measurement of time period will be. So here you have done such a question in NCERT. This is 0.2 second uncertainty will be in the oscillation of total 20 oscillation, that is in 25 seconds. So if I have to calculate error is 0.2 in 25. So if I do it in percentage term, it would be like this. So it comes out as 0.8%. Don't do it by calculating a 25 by 20. Let's say the 1.2 5.2 upon 1.25. That is wrong, because you have not measured a single oscillation period, you have measured period of 20 oscillations. Okay, next, if there is zero absorption in the polaroid and the intensity coming out of the polaroid is a square, then the intensity of the incident beam will be, okay, plane polarized light coming of the, so that means a square. So you can directly write the initial intensity I naught cos square theta is a square. So I naught would be a square upon cos square theta, and cos square theta cannot be greater than 1. So it at minimum is a square, it could be greater than a square, and because it is zero absorption and the initial light is intensity of the plane polarized light. Okay, so it is a plane polarized light, it might be a square also, it might be 2a square also, it is tough for me. And if I see the solution, they have assumed it to be unpolarized, but here it is given as plane polarized light coming out. Okay, plane polarized light is coming out, so intensity of the incident, so it is assuming that the incident light is unpolarized, then you can have cos square theta as half average value to 2a square. So then C is justified. I assume that the language should be more clear to make it out. A point source emits sound equally in all directions in non-absorbing medium. Two points are at a distance 2 and 3. The ratio of the intensity, you all know, I is proportional to 1 by r square. So because it is 2 by 3, so this I1 by I2 would be inverse, that would be 9 by 4. Go for option C. This is again an easy one for you. Next, person pushes a block of mass 4 kg up a frictionless plane 10-meter long, makes an angle 30 meter horizontal. The work done. Because it is frictionless, I will assume the force exerted by a person is just moving it up, no change in kind. I can see F is mg sin theta. So the work done would be mg sin theta into the d. D is what we have 10. So the work done is mg is what 40 into sine of theta, that is 1 by 2 into 10. So it comes out as 20 into 10, 200 or 9.8. If I take, it would be 196. But here the option is minus 196. So that means it is taking work done by gravity, not work done by the person. So just from the data, I can go for option D. Otherwise, by the person, it should be positive, not negative for sure. Next. The number of turns of primary and secondary coils of a transformer is 5 and 10. Okay, only 5 and 10. And mutual inductance is 25 Henry. Now the number of turns in primary and secondary are 10 and 5. The mutual inductance of the transformer will be, it is just reverse, the logic will remain the same, no change. It is still going to be 25 Henry. It is proportional to the total N1 and 2. That is still remains the same. The product remains exactly the same. So these were the 45 questions for the. Now the bonus for you, some chemistry questions which I feel can be done from the knowledge of the physics that I have. So first, the second question of the chemistry, the de Broglie wavelength of an electron having kinetic energy. So what we have, de Broglie wavelength is h by p, or you can write it as root mk. So it would be H is 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34, 2 into 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 into 2.8 into 10 to the power minus 23, and what we have this root thing also. So it is 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34. Let me solve it. 2.8 into 2, 5.6, 5.6 into 9.1 will take what we'll do. So 5.6 into 9.1, and this power thing goes 10 to the power minus 26, so minus 13 goes. So what we'll have 10 to the power minus 21 into 6. Oh, it was 31, sorry. 31 and 23 is what we have. We have 54, so 27 will go. So what will be left with 10 to the power minus 7 into 6.63 upon root of 9.1 into 5.6. So 9 5 if I do 45, it would be 48 something. It would be 7 approximately. So it would be 6 by 7. So it would be zero point 0.9 something into 10 to the power minus 7. So 9 point something into 10 to the power minus 8. I'll go for option C. Now the next is 11. A gas can be liquefied. We know there's a thing called critical temperature above which the gas cannot be liquefied, so it can be liquefied only below its critical temperature. So this is the 11th one for you. Now the next one that I am going to take is the question number 14, that is a part of nuclear physics. Also you can say relative abundance of two isotopes 85, 87, 75, 25, then the average atomic weight, what will I write? 0.75 into 85 plus 0.25 into 87. So what we'll have now, if you do this calculation, it would be more inclined to 85, it would be 85.5. Go for option B. So again, an easy one, not a tough one to calculate for you guys. You have done such questions in mole concept as well as in the which cell converts electrical energy into chemical energy. So you know that electrolytic cell, electrical energy changes into chemical energy, not in the dry or the electrochemical cell. Okay, so that was for today. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing. Thank you.